Dear students, so in this video, we are going to have a next topic, that is automobile and classifications of automobile. So we'll see in this topic, that is what is meant by automobile and what are the different types of automobiles that are available. So we'll see these topics one by one. So first, we'll see what is meant by automobile. So automobile engineering is one of the stream of mechanical engineering, or you can say it is a part of mechanical engineering. So generally automobile engineering, it deals with the various types of automobiles, their mechanism of transmission systems and applications of automobiles. So automobiles are different types of vehicles that are used for both transportation of the passenger or transportations of goods also. Basically, the all types of vehicles, they are works on a principle of IC engine, or you can say internal combustion engine or internal combustion process. So that type of engine, it is called as internal combustion engine, or it is also called as IC engine. So the different types of fuels that are burns inside the cylinder at higher temperature, and by which we can transfer the energy, or we can say motion, to the vehicle or to the wheels. So most of automobiles have internal combustion engine only, that is IC engine only. So we'll have a definition of this automobile. So if you see, automobile is defined as it is a branch of engineering which deals with everything about automobiles and practice to propel them. So automobile is a vehicle driven, which is IC engine, which is driven by IC engine or internal combustion engine, and it is used for transportation of passenger as well as goods on grounds. So automobile can also be defined as a vehicle which can be moved by itself, that is called as the automobile. So these are the different introduction regarding automobiles, and different definitions are there for the automobiles. So automobile, it is nothing but a vehicle, so which can move itself. Okay, so by using engine or by using any other prime mover, we can move this automobile. So that is called as we can move this vehicle. So that is called as automobile. So now we will see the classification. That is the most important topic in this video. That is the classification of automobile. So there are different criteria. Based on these criteria, we can classify the automobiles. So first criteria, it is the on the basis of load, we can classify automobile into three types. That is, first, it is called as heavy transport vehicle. It is called as heavy transport vehicle, that is called as HTV, or sometimes it is called as heavy motor vehicle, that is HMV. So both heavy transport vehicle or heavy motor vehicle, it is one and the same. So generally the example of this type of heavy transport vehicle, or we can say heavy motor vehicles, are trucks, buses. So these are the examples of heavy transport vehicle, or we can say heavy motor vehicle. So this is an example, like trucks is there. So it is a heavy transport vehicle. So that is used to transport the materials. So it is called as heavy transport vehicle, or it is also called as heavy motor vehicle. Second, on the basis of load, we have light transport vehicle. So generally the example of light transport vehicle, or it is also called as a light transport vehicle, and this light transport vehicle, the examples are pickups, then station wagons, then small vans. These are the example of light transport vehicle. So if you see, this is an example of, say, light transport vehicle. Okay. So these are the different types of pickups or station wagon is there. So they are the light transport vehicle. And another one is called as light motor vehicle. So it is called as LMV. Generally cars, jeeps, they are called as light motor vehicle, that is LMV. So this is a jeep, which is example of light motor vehicle. So if you see the capacity in case of transport, heavy transport vehicle, it is used to have a more capacity, then number of cylinders is again more in case of this heavy motor vehicle, or we can say heavy transport vehicle. In case of light transport vehicle, the number of cylinder is less as compared to heavy transport vehicle. Also, the capacity of transporting goods is again less. And these cars and jeeps are the light motor vehicle, or it is also called as LMV. So this is the classification based on load which is carried by that vehicle. It may be heavy transport vehicle, light transport vehicle, and light motor vehicle. Now, on the basis of wheels, we can classify the automobiles or vehicles. They are classified into two-wheeler vehicles. Okay, so for example, we have scooters, motorcycles, scooties. These are the example of two-wheeler vehicle. So this is the scooty. It is a two-wheeler vehicle. Now we have four-wheeler vehicle, three-wheeler vehicles. So the example of three-wheeler vehicles are auto rickshaw, then three-wheeler scooters for handicap, and the tempo. So these are the examples of three-wheel vehicles. So mainly the auto rickshaw is the three-wheel vehicle that is most commonly used. Now we have four-wheeled vehicles. So generally cars, jeeps, trucks, some buses are of four wheels. So these are called as four-wheel vehicles. And the last, it is the six-wheel vehicles, or we can say the more than six wheels. So it is called as the multi-axle vehicle. Now, if you see in all these three, that is two-wheeler, in three-wheeler, and in four-wheeler, so we have only two axles. Okay, so maximum two axle will be there. So it is called as two axle vehicle, and more than six wheels are there. So there is called as multi-axle. Now in six wheels, it may be mounted on two axle also, or it may be mounted on multi-axle vehicle also. So more than six wheels is generally mounted on multi-axle vehicle. So it having more than two axles. So it is called as multi-axle vehicles. So this is an example of, say, multi-axle vehicle. So if you see, here is one axle, this is another axle, this is again 1, 2, and 3. So if you see, there are 5 axles are there. So it is called as multi-axle vehicles. And because of that, it has, if you see wheels, so here there are 4 wheels, here there are 12 wheels. So 16 wheels are there. So that is called as a multi-axle vehicle, or more than 6 vehicles, 6 wheels are there. So it is based on number of wheels. We can classify automobile into two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, six-wheeler, or multi-axle vehicles. That is more than 6 wheels. Now, another criteria on the basis of fuel used. Now, based on fuel, we can classify that vehicle or automobile into a petrol vehicle like motorcycle, scooters, and some of the cars, they are run on a petrol as a fuel. So that is known as petrol vehicle. So some of the cars, they are run on petrol. Some of the cars, they can run on diesel. Now, second one is the diesel vehicle like trucks, buses, Then cars also, they can run on diesel. So that is called as diesel vehicle. Next, based on battery, that is which is used to drive the electric motor. So that is called as electric vehicle. So this is EV, or you can say electric vehicle, which is use of a electric battery to drive the vehicle. So that is called as electric vehicle. So this is an example for electric vehicle. So the charging of battery is done by using a charger, and by which the vehicle can be run through the battery and through electric motor. Next, we have the ancient days. We have steam vehicles. So, and steam engine, it is used to run this vehicle. So it is called as steam vehicle. So now this type of engines, we can say steam engines now obsolete. They are not in use. So this is an image or example of steam vehicle. Okay, so it runs on a steam. So in that we have a steam engine. In petrol and diesel engine, we have IC engine. In electric vehicle, we have battery instead of IC. So battery and motor instead of IC engine and other parts of this IC engine, that is power transmitting unit. Next, the gas vehicle. So the vehicles can be run by using the gases. It may be a liquefied petroleum gas, LPG. It may be a compressed natural gas, that is CNG vehicles. So LPG is liquefied petroleum gas and CNG is compressed natural gas. So by using this gas, we can run the vehicle. So it is called as gas vehicle. So this is an example where we can run the vehicle by using a gas, that is called as CNG. Mainly we use CNG, but sometimes we can use LPG as well, liquefied petroleum gas. Sometimes nowadays we have LNG also, liquefied natural gas. So on that also we can run the vehicle. Now, next classification is based on the basis of body. Now, this classification is very much important. So, based on the body of the vehicle, or we can say body of the automobile, they are classified into different types. So, if you see, these classifications are sedan. Now, this is the SUV. Then we have a compact body design. Then we have a station wagon or wagon design. Then we have coupe. So this is called as a coupe type of. Now we have a van. This is the special purpose vehicle is there. That is the van. Then we have a hatchback. Then pickup. This is again a special purpose vehicle. And the sport coupe. So these are the different types of vehicles. It is based on the body. Now in sedan, we have some sedan has only 2 doors, some sedan has 4 doors. Okay. So if you see, generally, if you see the Honda City car, it is of sedan type. And where there is a luggage is there. Okay, so it is called as sedan. Now in this, the separate luggage, it is not there. So that is, it is called as a hatchback. So that is the difference between sedan and hatchback. So first, it is called as sedan with 2 doors. Now, some sedan has only 2 doors, some sedan has 4 doors. So sedan has sedan with 4 doors. Next is the station wagon. So this arrangement is called as a station wagon. Next one is the convertible type of vehicles like jeeps. These are the convertible vehicle. Next, we have a van. Then the special purpose vehicle like ambulance, then milk van. So these are the vans which is used for only special purpose. Okay, like water tankers also. So that is called as a, on the basis of body, they are classified into different types. Okay. So mainly sedan is there, station wagon is there, hatchback is there. Then we have van and special purpose vehicles. So these are the classification based on the body of the vehicle. Now next, we have a classification based on the transmission system. So they are again classified into three types. That is manual transmission, semi-automatic transmission, and automatic transmission. So first we'll see the conventional vehicle with manual transmission. So for example, a car with 5 gears. Okay. So 5 forward gears and 1 reverse gear. So it is called as a manual transmission. So where we can transmit gear by using manually and by using clutch. So it is called as the manual transmission system. So this is the example of manual transmission system. Here we have 6 speeds and 1 reverse gear is. Okay. So this is the 6-speed car, or I can say vehicle is there. This is the conventional vehicle where manual transmission will be there. Now another, it is semi-automatic transmission. So in this, the vehicle that facilitates the manual gear changing with clutch pedal. So in conventional manual transmission, only we transmit the power by using change in gears. But in case of semi-automatic transmission, it will facilitates the manual gear changing with the clutch help. So with the help of clutch pedal, we can transmit the, we can transmit the power through gears. That is called as semi-automatic. So this is the semi-automatic type of transmission system. Next, we have automatic type of transmission system, in which the automatic transmission, the gears are not required to be changed manually. Okay. So in semi-automatic, gears are required to change manually, but with the help of clutch, we can change the gears. Now in automatically, it is automatically changes as per the speed of automobile. So based on speed, it will change the gears. So that type of system is called as automatic transmission system. So based on transmission system, they are classified into a manual transmission system, semi-automatic transmission system, and automatic transmission system. Now next, based on position of engine, they are again classified into two parts. One is engine is in front side and engine is in back side. So if you see almost all car, the engine is at front side of the vehicles. So most of vehicles have engine in front. So example, most of cars, buses and trucks, they are in India. They are all of engine is at front side. Now another is based on position of engine. So sometimes engine is at rear side. So very few vehicles that have engine located at rear wheel. So example is a nano car. So this is the nano car where the engine is at back side of the vehicle. So if you see in this, the engine is at back side of the vehicle and power is transmitted from back side to the wheel. Okay. So this is called as, on the basis of position of engine, they are classified into engine in front side or engine in rear side. Next classification, which is based on suspension system is used. So based on which type of suspension system is used, they are classified into two types. One is conventional suspension system that consists of a lip spring. Okay. So if you see, this is the conventional suspension system where this lip spring is used. Okay. So this is called as a shackle. So by means of shackle, we connect this. Now this shackle part is connected to the chassis. and this shackle, one end is connected to the lip spring. And these are the U-bolts by which we connect this lip spring with the axle. Generally, this lip spring, it can be used at rear part or a rear axle, but sometimes we can use at front axle also. So this is the conventional suspension system. That is the lip spring. Now we have independent suspension system. So there are a different example of independent suspension system, like coil spring is there. Okay, so it is coil spring type of shock absorber, and some of the air system is there, or it is a air shock absorber, or it is also called as a pneumatic shock absorber. So if you see, this is a coil spring type of shock absorber. So we use a coil spring as a suspension system. And in case of air suspension, the compressed air, it is used to have a suspension in case of the vibration. Okay, so air is filled in this part, and that is called as air suspension system, or it is also called as pneumatic suspension system. So based on classification of suspension system, they are classified into conventional and independent. Now, based on the purpose, what is the basis of purpose of that vehicle? They are classified into a passenger vehicles, or we can say passenger carriers like cars, jeeps, buses. It is used to have a passenger which carries the passenger. So these are the buses which carries the passenger. So it is called as a passenger carrier. And the second, based on purpose, that is called as a goods carrier. So mainly trucks, it is used to carry the goods. Okay, so it is called as a goods carrier. So here the written is there, goods carrier. Okay, so every trucks, or I can say which carries the goods, so that good carrier's word is written on that vehicle. Next, on the basis of drive of the vehicle, they are classified into a left-hand drive vehicle where the steering wheel is fitted on the left-hand side. So it is called as left-hand drive vehicles. So generally in USA and other parts, some other countries, we have left-hand drive system. But in case of India and Britain, or we can say England, we have right-hand drive system. So steering wheel is fitted at the right-hand side. So it is called as right-hand drive. So based on steering wheel or based on a drive of the vehicle, if it is a left hand, it is called as a left-hand drive. If it is right hand, it is called as right-hand drive. So if steering wheel is at a right side, it is called as a right-hand drive. And if steering wheel has left-hand side, so it is called as left-hand drive. Now we will see the first main part of automobile. It is called as automobile chassis. And based on that automobile chassis, the different systems of automobile is mounted on that chassis. So we'll see the layout of automobile chassis. So if you see, this is the layout of automobile chassis, which consists of the number of parts. Starting from, we have a engine, then radiator, which cools that engine. Then we have a steering system. Here it is the steering wheel, steering system is there. Then wheels and tires is there. Then this engine is connected to clutch. Then we have gearbox. We have universal joint. So here between gearbox and propeller shaft, we have one universal joint, and another universal joint is between propeller shaft and the differential. Now this is the slip joint is there. This is the propeller shaft, which carries the power from front side to rear side. Then here we have a final drive, or it is also called as a differential, by which we can transmit power at 90 degree, that is at right angle triangle. Then we have a rear axle. Here we have front axle. Then again, we have rear wheels and rear tires. And this part is called as a frame, or sometimes it is called as a chassis. Okay, so chassis like part which consists of a frame structure is there. Okay, sometimes C frame structure will be there, sometimes box shaped structure will be there. So it is called as a frame. So this is the automobile chassis on which we can fit all other parts of the vehicle. And the body is separate part other than this chassis. So if you see, in case of chassis, almost all parts gets covered. From braking system is also there, suspension system is also there, all are there in case of automobile chassis. So generally automobile chassis consist of a source of power. Now in case of IC engine vehicle, the source of power is engine, that is IC engine. Then the frame which supports this the engine. Then we have wheels, body, then transmission, that is power transmission, that is from engine, clutch, gearbox, propeller shaft, and differential. All it is called as a power transmission system. Then we have braking system is there. Then we have steering system is there. Then it automobile chassis also consists of a suspension systems and springs also. Okay, so this is called as a we can say layout of automobile chassis, which consists of number of parts. So this is automobile chassis, where these all components, they are fixed along this chassis or along this frame. So it is called as automobile chassis. So the components of automobile, there are main components. The first component is the engine, which produces the power, or we can say it is the source of power, that is the engine. Next part is the frame and chassis. So the frame and chassis, it supports the engine, wheels, body, braking system, steering system, suspension systems. So that part is known as frame or chassis. So this all parts, it is comes under the chassis and frame. Next, we have a transmission system which transmit power from engine to the wheels. Okay, so we have engine in this side, front side, and we transmit power from this engine to the wheels. So that system is called as a transmission system, or it is also called as power transmission system. Now it consists of clutch, then gearbox, then transmission shaft, axles, the final drive, or it is also called as differentials. So this is called as a power transmission system. This is the third part. Next, fourth important part is the body of the vehicle. And the next is accessories. So we have a different accessories that is used in a vehicles. It including light, AC or heater will be there, stereo will be there, wiper will be there. There are a number of accessories. We can say safety devices will be there. Some of the active safety devices will be there. Passive safety devices will be there. So these are the comes under the all accessories. Now we will see this component of automobile one by one. So first is chassis and frame. So generally chassis is formed by frame with the frame side member and cross members. Okay. So if you see, it is chassis is formed by using a frames. So these are the frames. Then we have side members also. So these are the side members. Then we have some cross members. So these are the cross members. So number of cross members and side members are there, and by which we get a chassis or a frame. So the frame is usually has a different types of construction. It is sometimes it is a box type of construction. Sometimes it is a tubular type of construction. sometimes it is a channel member. So if you see in this image, we have channel type of frame is there, or you can say chassis will be. So the frame is usually made up of box, tubular, and channel member that are welded or riveted together. In addition to this chassis and frame, it consists of springs with axles. So it consists of springs with axles and wheels. Then it consists of steering system also, braking system also. It consists of fuel tank, then exhaust system, the radiator, battery, and other accessories. So number of accessories it can be fitted on this chassis or frames. Along with this frame supports the body of the vehicles. Okay, so this is the first component of automobile, that is called as chassis and frame. Second component is engine, or sometimes it is called as a power plant. Why? Because it produces the power. So we have the engine is a power plant of the vehicle, or you can say power producing device of the vehicle. In general, we use IC engine with either a petrol or diesel fuel is used to run the vehicles. Okay, so that is called as a engine or power plant. So the engine, now the engine, it may be a two-stroke engine or it may be a four-stroke engine. So there are different types of engine that we will see in another video. What are the engine and what are the types of engines and what are the components of engines. So we'll see the engines and their parts and their classification in another video. So engine, it may either it is a two-stroke engine or it may be a four-stroke engine. It may be a petrol engine. It may be a diesel engine. Now, engine consists of different parts like cylinder, piston, connecting rod, valve operating mechanisms. We have a inlet valve, outlet valves. Then we have a carburetors. In case of modern car, we have fuel injectors. Okay, so MPFI system is there. That is multi-point fuel injector system. Then we have fan. Then fuel feed pump is there. Then oil pump is there. Besides this, we require ignition system for burning of the fuel. So that ignition system is also there in case of engine. Okay. Now next part is the transmission system. Mainly it consists of a clutch, gearbox. Okay, so this is called as a transmission system. So the power which is developed by engine is transferred to wheels by means of transmission systems. So in between all parts, like in between engine and wheels, which transmit the power from engine to wheels, that parts is called as transmission parts, or we can say these parts are called as transmission system, or it is also called as power transmission system. So first, it provides varying gear ratios, or we can say varying speeds. So number of gear ratios is equals to number of gears which is used in that vehicle. So it may be 5+1, it may be 6+1, it may be 4+1. So that is called as based on number of gear ratios, we have a different speeds. Next, the transmission system, it must have a reverse gear for moving vehicle in reverse direction. Then it must provide a neutral or disconnecting arrangement so that the engine is uncoupled from the vehicle. Okay, so for that we require a neutral or disconnecting arrangement. So for that we use a clutch mainly. Okay, or a neutral arrangement is there so that engine is in neutral position or is in off condition. So that will uncoupled from vehicle and engine. Next one is in conventional transmission system, there is a clutch Then manually operated transmission system, that is the gearbox. That is manual gearbox will be there. Then we have a propeller shaft and the differential or final drive is there. So by which we can transmit the power from engine to the wheels. So that is called as a transmission system. Now next part of automobile chassis, it is the clutch. So if you see the clutch part, the purpose of clutch is to allow the driver to coupled and decoupled the engine and transmission system. Okay, so that is the main purpose of the clutch. It is to allow the driver to couple and decoupled, or you can say to engage and disengage the engine and the transmission parts. So that is called as, that is the main function of the clutch. So the wheel, when clutch is in engaged position, the engine power flows through the transmission system and the power of engine is given to the wheels through the clutch arrangement. Then when it is a engaged position, and when the clutch is at a disengaged position, or when we have to change the gears, we require a temporary decoupling of the engine and wheel so that we can shift the gears. Okay, so for that we require disengaging, or we can say decoupling of the clutch. So by which we can decouple the power transmitted from engine to the vehicle. So this is the temporary arrangement is provided. So clutch permits this temporary arrangement so that engine gets decoupled to the wheels and so that we can shift the gears. Now in scooter, the clutch is operated by a hand, whereby in car, the clutch is operated by a foot. That is the difference. Okay, in case of generally two-wheeler, the clutch is operated by hand, and in case of four-wheeler and six-wheelers and more wheel component or vehicle, the clutch is operated by foot. Now, clutch is necessary to interrupt the flow of power before we change the gears. So without clutch, it is very difficult to change the gear also. And sometimes there will be a breaking of the gears teeth, or we can say gear will be there. So for that, we require the interrupt in flow of power between engine and wheels. Now next is final drive. Generally, it consists of differential part. So it is of a final drive. So a final drive is the last stage in transmitting of the power from engine to the wheel. So in case of final drive, or in can say in case of differential, it reduces the speed of propeller shaft, or we can say drive shaft. So here we have a propeller shaft and here we have a axle, and this axle is connected to the wheels. Okay, so here the bevel gear is there and pinion is gear, so by which we can transmit the power at 90 degree. Okay, so in final drive, the reduces the speed of propeller shaft or drive shaft to that of the wheels. So it is also turns the drive of the propeller shaft by a 90 degree so that we can drive the wheels, and that is done by using this bevel gear, and this is the small pinion is there. Okay, so by which we can have the 90 degree transmission will be there. Next, the propeller shaft has a small bevel gear which meshes with the crown wheel. Okay, so we have this bevel gear and there is a crown wheel. So this wheel is called as a crown wheel. This is another bevel gear. Then the crown wheel gives the rotary motion to the rear axle. So because of this crown wheel, it can rotate the rear axle. And the size of crown wheel is bigger than this bevel pinion. So we have this bevel pinion, and the size of this bevel gear, it is more than the bevel pinion. Therefore, the speed of rear axle, or we can say crown wheel, it is lower than the speed of pinion. Okay. So by which we can reduce the speed of rear axle and wheel. Next one is the final drive. It is mainly having a two types. Either it may be a chain type drive or it may be a gear drive. So this is the clutch and final drive. Next component is the braking system. So mainly two types of brakes are there. One is disc brake and drum brakes. So the brakes are used to stop down or to slow down the vehicle, or to stop the vehicle, we use brakes. Now there are hydraulic brakes, there are mechanical brakes. So hydraulic brakes generally used in automobiles, in which the brakes are applied by using a pressurized fluid. So that brakes are called as hydraulic brakes. So if you see in case of disc brake, this hydraulic arrangement is there. So by which the clips, or we can say the calipers, it get we can say clamped against this rotating disc. So that part is called as a hydraulic brake. So disc brake is a hydraulic brake, while drum brake, it is a mechanical brake. So some of mechanical brakes are also used in some vehicles. So these brakes are operated by means of levers, then linkages, then brake pedals, and cam arrangement is there. So by which we can operate this mechanical brake. And in case of hydraulic, we have a pressurized fluid that will operate that brake. It is called as a hydraulic brake. Now, another handbrake or parking brake is also usually used. And this handbrake and parking brake, it is usually of a mechanical brake. So these are used for parking of the vehicle on a slopey surface, or we can say slope surface. And also in case of emergency, we can use this handbrake or parking brake. Now next part, it is called as a gearbox. Now if you see, this is the gearbox. Now differential gearbox is different thing, and this is the main gearbox. Okay, so that gearbox having a 5+1, that is 5 transmission speed will be there, and 1 reverse gear will be there. So it is a gearbox. So gearbox contains the gearing arrangement to get different speeds. So for that, gears are used to get more than one speed ratio. So number of gears are used. So by which we can have different gears, and by which we can have different speed ratios that can be there. So we can have a different torque and different speed. Then when mating gears have same number of teeth, then both gear, or we can say both gear, it can be rotated with same speed. If the mating gear has a large number of teeth, it will be rotating with a different speed. Okay. So, but when one gear has fewer teeth and another has a larger teeth, then the less number of teeth gear will be rotate faster than the larger gear. Then in typical car, there may be a 6 gears, including 1 reverse gear, that is 5+1. So first gear gives low speed but high torque, and the last gear, that is the 5th gear, gives high speed but low torque. Now higher gears gives the progressively increasing speed, and because of there is a progressively increasing speed, there is progressively decreasing torque. So gears are engaged and disengaged by using a shift lever. So we have a shift lever, that is gear shift lever is there. So by which we can change the gear system. Now we have a next part that is called as a steering system. So this is a steering system. We have a steering wheels, then we have a steering arm, and generally this steering system is provided to at front side. So in front wheels can be turned to left and to right by using a steering system, so that vehicle can be steered or vehicle can be uh, turned to left or right. So that is called as a steering system. So steering wheel is placed in front of the driver. It is mechanically linked to the wheels to provide steering control. So this is a mechanically linked to the steering wheel, which provides the control to the rotation of the wheel, or we can say steer of the wheel. Now, the primary function of the steering system is to provide angular motion, or we can say a rotating motion to the front wheels. So we can turn it into left or right so that vehicle can negotiate the turn. So that is the primary function of steering wheel. Now the steering system also provides the direction stability to the vehicle so that vehicle can move ahead in straight line path. So nowadays, instead of mechanical, we have power steering. And this power steering works on a pressure of the fluid, which reduces the steering effort, or we can say a manual effort. So that is called as a power steering. When driver turns the steering system, the hydraulic mechanisms comes into play, and that provide the most of effort needed to turn the vehicle. So effort needed to turn the vehicle is reduced by means of power steering. Now next we have front axle. So this is the front axle. So this front axle are mounted on the front of the vehicle, and the part of the weight of the vehicle is transmitted to this front axle through the wheels to this front axle. The front axle performs the several functions, like it carries the weight of the vehicles. Then it also carries horizontal as well as vertical loads when vehicle moves along the irregular, we can say bumpy road, or we can say not on a flat road. So for that, it takes the horizontal as well as vertical loads. Next, generally the brakes are provided on front wheels. It endurance, the bending stresses and torsional stresses. Generally, this front axle is made up of from the steel drop forging process, and it is a robust, or we can say it is simple in construction. So this is the front axle. Now we have a suspension system. So the suspension system is provided to front side also and at rear side also. Okay, so it is a suspension system. So suspension system of automobile separates the wheel and axle assembly from its body. Okay, so vibration of wheels and axle, it cannot transmit to the body of the vehicle. So for that we use suspension system. So main function of the suspension system is to isolate the body of the vehicle from the shocks and vibration, which is generated due to the irregularities on the surface road, or we can say irregularities in the road of the surface. So this is a one shock absorber is provided into this system. Okay, so it consists of damper and the spring mainly. So here it is the damper part, and this is the damper spring part. So shock absorber are provided in the vehicle for this purpose, to reduce, or you can say to isolate the body from vehicle from shocks and vibration. So here the shock absorber is there. So it is in the form of spring and dam. Next, the suspension system is provided on both on front end as well as a rear end of the vehicle. And a suspension system maintains the stability of the vehicle in case of pitching and rolling. Now, pitching is nothing but when there is a braking action takes place. So the tilting of vehicle takes place in this direction. Sometimes when we take the turn, it will rolls in this direction or in this direction. So it will provides the stability. The suspension system provides the stability to both pitching as well as for rolling. So this is the suspension system. So this is all about the what is meant by automobile. Then what are the classification of automobiles, and what are the layout of the automobile chassis, and what are the different components of automobile chassis. So this is all about this video. Please try to subscribe to my channel and also like the video. So thank you very much.